In the lives of Patricia Arquette and Joey King, the act is still relevant. In the 2019 Hulu Real Crime anthology series, the actors played Gypsy-Rose Blanchard and her mother Dee Dee Blanchard, respectively. They discussed the King's portrayal of the 32-year-old Gypsy-Rose, who has since been freed from prison. Speaking about the act and We Were the Lucky Ones, King, 24, and Arquette, 56, discussed the films on Saturday, June 1, at Powerhouse Performances, an evening with Joey King and Riley Keough, which was held at the DGA Theater in Los Angeles as part of Disney FYC Fest. I'm thrilled to be here with you tonight. And I'm going to introduce an actress for whom I have the utmost regard. She and I collaborated on a show called The Act. Arquette presented King to the crowd, saying, "And she's one of the most talented and generous actors that anyone could ever hope to work for." The two actresses engaged in a broad discussion about King's work on the television series We Were the Lucky Ones, which was adapted from Georgia Hunter's book of the same name, which is based on the author's own family's true events. In the show, King plays a Jewish woman named Helena Kirk, whose family seeks refuge during the Holocaust. In addition to talking about the challenging sequences that King had to film for We Were the Lucky Ones, the impact of working on a show of such magnitude, and King's experience of losing weight and coloring her hair for the part, Arquette also offered her thoughts on actors accepting parts that are based on historical figures and events. "I believe that you have to open your heart to this collective experience when your heart is in the right place, you care about the material, and you want to honor the material." She remarked, "I think historical things are very intense because that is like one of the awful things of humanity, that man does to men," before questioning King about her experience playing Gypsy-Rose. "I am aware that you portrayed Gypsy-Rose in the act, and she is currently free. However, this is also inspired by a true story. And when you're performing, does it feel any different? Like a real person who existed?" The perfect description of Arquette's remarks, King retorted, is that the least we can do as actors is feel overwhelmed by the emotion that we are given in a scene. "Yeah, it does," King said in response. "The least we can do is that." While portraying a person who endured a dreadful experience. "Helena Kirk is a real human being who goes through this, and I met and hugged her children," the speaker said. "It's a distinct sort of accountability. Additionally, it differs from the time I performed the act with you," she said to Arquette. "Gypsy is a living, breathing being who can be seen, heard, and experienced by others. And that carries a new kind of duty." She was speaking of her portrayal when she remarked, "Because it's like, oh, some people can draw direct comparison to what I did. Get the best of people, from celebrity news to gripping human interest stories, sent straight to your inbox by subscribing to their free daily newsletter." She said of We Were the Lucky Ones, "This is so different because Helena isn't here anymore. However, her story is so well known, painful and hopeful all at the same time. Additionally, there are moments when it's simply so incredibly joyful. I just had a genuine, uncomplicated desire to do this well and please her family." We all felt that way, I believe. Each and every member of the cast expressed the same desire to just make this beautiful family proud. When King brought up her 2023 marriage to Stephen Peet later in the interview, Arquette inquired as to whether she was still a newlywed. "I'm not sure. I have been married for 9 months already," she remarked, adding, after Arquette verified that she was still technically a newlywed, "I'm still only married. But since my wedding band didn't match my dress today, I left it at home and wore silver jewelry instead. However, I remain married." The topic of Riley Keough and Jenna Malone's conversation about Under the Bridge came up during Arquette's moderating of a discussion with King about her new series, We Were the Lucky Ones. The two had previously collaborated on a project together. In December 2023, King said that she had maintained contact with the Munchausen by proxy syndrome sufferer since Gypsy-Rose's release from prison. "I recently received a message from Gypsy." In an April Armchair Expert episode, King stated, "We didn't have any contact when we were filming the show, but since she's been released, she reached out and we had a quick little exchange, which was really nice." The actress, who won an Emmy for her role as Gypsy-Rose, described the television show as an exciting piece of material and added that creating it was one of the most incredible experiences I've ever had. However, it's also a person's actual life. That carries a lot of responsibility. The subject is no longer living, so it's not like a biopic. King went on, it's also blatantly at odds with who I am. I sound nothing like that. Naturally. I also don't actually move in that manner. The thought of taking away all of my vanity that I had on many other sets was something I really liked. Being presented with such a difficult persona. It was a wonderful encounter. It was also frightening to know that that real person existed. However, it also made me think, well, I really want to do it right. Arquette told People that Gypsy-Rose had been through a lot and that she hoped Gypsy-Rose would have a smooth return to her life after her release. Hopefully, it's not an excess. I also hope she enjoys her freedom and that people treat her with kindness. That should never happen to a child, Arquette declared. I hope she has a beautiful life. Hulu is currently streaming the act.